I'd like to call the meeting to order. Almighty God, you have blessed us with memory, reason, and skill. Help us to use them wisely in the service of our town government. We ask this in thy holy name. Amen. Flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everybody here this evening. I'd like to do the minutes of our last 2 minutes first, and I just want to get off the agenda a little bit. I need a motion by the board to approve the April 11th board minutes.
I make a motion to approve the April 11th board minutes.
I'll second.
Is there any questions or concerns about the April 11th board minutes? If not, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I need to abstain.
Well, I should too, because that was the first meeting I missed in 12 years. I was in the hospital. But
It's just my
Steve and I is
preference.
abstaining, the other three is voting, yes. Thank you, Steve. April 20th, they had a special meeting. Basically, they paid a bill. We have a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Any questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? And I also abstained, I was not here either. Thank you. Anyway,
Aye.
I'd like to discuss a letter I got from Melissa Baker pertaining to Maple Hill Cemetery. I believe most of you're aware of it. John is, I believe. Are you aware of this one, Steve?
No.
Just got it late last week, I believe she got it in. Maple Hill Cemetery, they've been charged a half EDU.
Okay.
And they don't want the water, there's no buildings there, probably never will be a building there. They're asking to be excused from their half EDU. And we researched, if you remember correctly, we have 3 other parcels that we reduced from 0.5 EDUs, half EDU, to 0.1. One of those parcels was a landlocked parcel. I think it was right to the village and town line here somewhere. The other one was on South Street, which was a small building lot. He was being charged. It's not even legally big enough to build on. We reduced his. And we reduced one on the Ridge Road. All he has is a right-of-way into his property. Okay, we reduced them. So we talked briefly about it this afternoon.
Okay.
To be in all fairness, this is what we would recommend, Melissa. Your current bill is $56.50, I believe, per quarter.
Mm-hmm.
That's a half EDU. A whole EDU is $113. Half EDU is $56.50. And those other ones, when we charge them out, it'd be 10% of 113, which is a full EDU. So you come down to a little over $10 a quarter instead of $56 a quarter. Okay?
Yeah. That's a lot better.
Well, and we do have another issue with that because we do believe that the St. Mary's Catholic Cemetery on the Ridge, Church Street at the top of the hill,
Mhm.
they have been paying a half EDU.
Mm-hmm.
So in all fairness, we want to do the same with both, or we've got to do the same with both. That's the consensus of the board,
Mm-hmm.
that we have to do the same with both. So they've already paid for a year. If we decide to do that, we either got to charge you for that year that they already paid,
Mm-hmm.
or reimburse them partially. So they would only pay 1/10 of the EDU instead of give them credit on future bills. So I don't know what the board is thinking on this. If you had any thoughts at all on it all. But in the name of fairness, that's what we were thinking, okay? So it's, anybody got any thoughts?
So Maple Hill's not paid any of theirs so far?
No. So either they gotta pay theirs for that 1 year, they should have come in a year ago, I hate to tell you that, okay? Or we're gonna have to, in all fairness, give St. Mary's Church credit for that cemetery we probably won't reduce send them their money back to them, but we'll give them credit for the next few payments, okay?
Mhm.
So it's up to the board, whatever we think here. Don't-
Instead of being the 56, it would go down.
Let me make sure I understand this. Is there here for the cemetery that's got a water line going under it?
No,
No,
it's available to them because it's out at the road.
Gotcha. Because they're not accessing it. Right. Because
They have no water on that property.
Okay.
They
don't need.
We have water.
We have a well.
Well,
You do have a
a
well?
little
Yeah, I have a
landlocked
functioning well.
There's no electricity or nothing on that property?
No, no.
No electricity. We're non-profit, that's why we're here,
Is the other cemetery, is it a similar situation?
just trying to survive.
Well, see, they're backed by the Catholic cemetery.
Pardon?
They're backed by the Catholic Church. I mean, they get money for that cemetery. They're supported.
Yeah, but I agree with you, I don't disagree with you, but you know what?
But we weren't,
Pardon?
excuse me, sir, but we didn't have access to water a year ago from you. The line wasn't there till just recently. That's why we're involved with this, because we're new to it too,
Okay.
and we were just trying to
I
get a
understand your
handle.
question.
Okay, no problem.
I understand that. Everybody that was in the district has been paying that even before they get their water,
Oh, okay.
okay?
I'm
Actually,
clueless on this, you're teaching me.
We had a short-term loan,
Okay.
because the whole project is, it's 13 point some million dollars, but we had to pay a loan, so to speak, during construction period. After the project is totally completed, the loan is for 30 years at 0% increase, 0% interest, okay? So we had to, and other people had that same concern.
Mhm.
They were paying for something before they got it. And it's certainly perfectly legal with the state. You have to raise funds to pay for that. You might say, the short-term loan to pay for the construction,
Right.
okay?
Okay.
So,
The only thing I would say is that it's not our responsibility to offer a credit without someone coming to us and saying, we should give them one. This should be case by case, where if we agree that there should be at that rate, meaning 1/10, then that's what we agree to. And then if
how about,
the other cemetery comes to us on a separate matter, that's my opinion.
okay, how about the year they have not paid?
Maple Hill Cemetery.
They should have paid it.
Well, the thing is, we all
Because-
agreed at one meeting that we were going to start from the time people come to us. That we couldn't, somebody comes to us 2 years ago, 2 years in the future and says, I don't want to pay back at the beginning. We can change it now to whatever, 1/10 or whatever we decide. But we decided that it was as of the time people came to us. And that if they owed it, they owed it. But
When they received the first bill, and we were starting out setting this program up, all they had to do was come to us with that bill and say, we're in dire straits here, we need some help, whatever, and we had taken care of it. But a year later, it's kind of hard for us to back up the timer here.
And we based our revenue on a set number of EDUs, and now we're backtracking, we keep losing revenue. In the future, we can plan for it, but we can reduce it to 1/10 or whatever.
We received it when everybody got the land taxes the first of the year. We received one of those with an EDU $180 levy.
That's because you didn't pay for those 3.
We would never billed. The first bill I got was this year. It was on a blue piece of paper, and it was for the 56. We have, I don't know where,
that bill was sent.
Yeah, I can move back to see what they were sent.
I know you got a change of board
yeah,
over there, so to speak.
yeah, but,
So you got a tax bill with a levy on it.
yeah, but
So there's no
we're tax
really way that
exempt.
you can credit that, because it went on their tax
Right.
bill.
But there is no tax.
And we're talking about the 56.
No, there's no tax bill.
But she said she got a tax.
Yeah, I got a form like you would for your land taxes and your
Yeah.
school taxes, but all it had on it was, the EDU levy.
Right.
Yeah, because when they weren't paid in the fall,
Yes.
we had to send them to re-levy on their
Yes.
bill.
And there's probably one that's been added to that since last fall too, then.
But
No.
any,
Well, they had, the first quarter of this year, they would have been levied again.
No, we have to do the re-levies by a certain date in the fall, even though, because the way we started late in the year. So the fourth quarter just went out,
Oh, okay.
so it would be re-levied this fall.
I don't want this to drag on, I want to come to some type of conclusion this evening. if
yeah,
possible.
well, I don't know where the bills went last year, but we've had this since January last year.
More than likely, them bills probably sent, change of administration over there, change of board, they probably didn't get into your hands, I don't know that.
Yeah,
Okay,
Could I make it just a
Yeah.
suggestion that, to make sure this is done right and fair for all parties involved, if we could table this for a month, and let me look at the specific language that set up this water district. Look at that based on their request and when the timings of things that came out, that way everybody can be on the same page as to who was responsible for what and when, what bills came out and when, how timely the request may have been, so that whatever decision's made is made with all the information and is made as fair as possible. But if I can look at all that stuff and kind of write up just an opinion email, this is what I think based on what I'm looking at, that might give us a little guidance going forward, if you don't mind waiting a month for
No,
that to
not
take
at all.
place. And if the board doesn't, I think that might be the fairest way to do it.
I understand.
I make a motion, we allow Matt to go forward with this and see what he can come up with us, and
Okay.
get us an honest opinion on this. So if we run into this again, we'll have something on paper.
I second that.
Right. All in favor?
So I'll ask Jane to give me a copy of the document that, there should have been a resolution or some documentation setting up that, the water district they're in that we're talking about. And that'll be the starting point, and then I'll get whatever else I need from Jane to do.
We just want you to know we didn't know your problem, once we
Well, I
were.
appreciate that.
thank you very much, thank you.
Everything you've done.
You can hang in there for the rest of the meeting. if you'd
Oh,
like.
no, thanks, it's all yours.
We appreciate it, thank you very much.
Take care.
Night.
Okay.
That's why it's caused such a stink, because they're saying they're paying for something that they. What was the name of that cemetery?
Maple Hill.
Thank you. That's one right on 11, like by the underpass?
Yes.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I know where that is. Can I keep this line?
Yes.
Thank you.
I got no problem treating everybody equally fair, that's for sure.
The other cemetery has not come forward with a request yet, right? We're just thinking if we do something for these guys, they have to backtrack
Right,
or something.
yeah, and
Well, that's
they
why we
may-
said,
they may
that's
not
why we
even-
said we were gonna reduce the other one, because if you do it for one, you actually have to reduce the other one. It's gotta be fair.
They may not even,
Gotcha,
you
okay.
know, it's, but we should be there.
Okay, I'd like to have a motion to approve the town clerk's monthly report.
I'll make that motion.
Is there any questions or concerns? All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you, Julie. You got your zoning board minutes, they're for information only. Very interesting, please do read them all. Okay.
Matt, there's no agenda in your-
Matt, how does that?
I don't know if you have it, yeah, I love it, thanks. There's a, in there. Did you go to this zoning board meeting, Brian? I didn't go. This one looks like it's gonna be
Which one?
the expansion of a certain location on Leggett Road.
Oh, that's all approved,
Is it?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. There'll be a couple then that were on this. No more, there you go, I believe. No, no more, what's that one?
Zoning board of appeals?
Next one. Okay?
Yep.
And you certainly can I'll explain what I know about the repayment loan, okay? There was 2 repayment schedules. One, for the short-term, the long-term debt, 0% interest. You start out at a lower payment, and you increase it every year for the 30 years of the loan. The other one was you start with a higher figure to start with, but it's consistent all through the loan. End story is, it's the exact same amount of money, okay? And consulting with the mayor, I believe you were, did you talk to Anthony on this one? Okay, so let's make it, we, the mayor and I and Anthony, we really felt, because we're just starting up, and we're hoping to get more businesses down the road, that we would start with a lower payment. It's the same net result at the very end of the loan, okay? I have a schedule, I can give it to you, okay? So that's that part of it. The second paragraph, you wanna get onto that one, Matt, maybe?
Sure, so if everybody doesn't know what bond counsel is, just real quick, bond counsel is a separate attorney that specializes in doing the bond work. It's very specialized work. You need to be certified to be able to give a bond opinion to the lender to basically say, when the town says they're pledging their full faith and credit, they've got the wherewithal to back this loan, they've got enough money to be able to pay this off, they know what they're doing. Very specialized section of the law. For years, it sounds like the town of Champlain worked with Ted Trespass out of Syracuse, who appears to know what he's doing and do a very good job. Where I got concerned was, this loan was split up into 2 sets of financing, short-term and long-term. When his letter of engagement came in, I think in October, November, everybody thought it was the $20,000 bond counsel fee was for the entire, both sides of the loan. It turns out it wasn't, it was just for the first short-term. So then Anthony Young sends us a letter from Ted saying, we're ready to do your long-term financing, it's gonna be another $20,000 to do that. I looked at that, and Anthony and I had a call, and I kinda said, have you ever seen a number, because basically you'd be paying them $40,000 for bond counsel for, in essence, is one loan. I thought that seemed high, Anthony thought that seemed extremely high. So, and I hate saying anything bad about the attorney, that's not what I'm trying to do. I've known of and worked with a little bit another bond counsel out of New York City, his name is Douglas Goodfriend. I started working with him through a contact with the city of Plattsburgh, he's done their work forever. I happened to call him 2 months ago on a question I had on a bond up here. He helped me with it, gave me a sample to use, emailed me right away exactly what we needed at no charge, just as a courtesy, and then sent me his book on bonds, which is like this. This is the guy that's so good at what he does that the state calls him when they need to redo their finance laws, and he writes them for the state. So I contacted him, I sent him a letter from Ted and said, this is the type of bond that we have to do right now. 1, what would you charge? And 2, if we got you on board now, how quick could the turnaround be? Because Anthony is saying, we're gonna get paperwork this week that's gonna need to get turned around in a day. He looked at it, he said, I know Ted's good, he does this with his fees sometimes. I will say in writing, I will not charge more than $10,000, I'll cap my fees at that to do this work, because it should be, the whole thing should have been done for about 15, the front and the back end of this, not 40. He's saying maybe 10, depending on how much he's got to review that was done prior, the drawdown amounts, and some funky stuff with bonds. So, we talked about it earlier today. There was another gentleman here at the construction meeting who had worked with Douglas in the past who had only fantastic things to say about him. So I said, look, can you give me an engagement letter? It's not official until we sign it. He said, I'll do the engagement letter because EFC, the funding entity here, needs it in a specific form. He did it in a form they're going to accept, and he knows that because he wrote the form for this group. So it's kind of like the perfect guy you could have for this type of loan because he wrote the law on it. He gave it to us. It spells out in 20 bullet points exactly what you'll get for his services, everything that they can do, soup to nuts. And he says at the end of it, my fees will not exceed $10,000. There's no hidden fees, there's no hidden costs, there's no taxes on it. It says all this in his letter of engagement, which is what it should say. I very, very highly recommend this guy. Every time I call him, he calls me back within 10 minutes, and he is quote-unquote big New York City attorney. He's got an office on Broadway, I think. But you get him on the phone in 5 minutes, he answers your question. He had this turned around within 2 hours. He knows there's a lot of paperwork coming this week, and he said that'll be turned around within 24 hours so we don't miss our closing date. The problem is I think we have May 25th as a date here that we have to hit to have all the paperwork into the state, or we don't get our money. They push the closing back at least 6 weeks. Anthony thinks we really need to get everything done by that May 25th date. Douglas has said no problem to make that happen. So it seems like a savings right off the bat of at least $10,000. We have the same, if not potentially better work coming from him. And somebody that if we had questions on other projects, you could call, ask a question, get it answered, you wouldn't get a bill for it. So I think he's a very, very positive and interesting person to consider, it would be my recommendation to hire him as bond counsel for the salt shed project, and maybe other things going forward if bond counsel is necessary.
I guess just to clarify, the only thing I'm concerned about is the timing. This new attorney that you're recommending can reassure us that we will have everything in place that we need to satisfy EFC
This week.
in that timely fashion.
Yep. Anthony said, you know, you could be looking at 2 to 3 days. By the time Anthony gets the paperwork to me and or the bond counsel, he would need it back, Anthony, within 2 to 3 days. Doug is saying he'll have it within 24 hours. He's done, I mean, once you do it, and he explained the bond process to me, once you do enough, it's just forms. You're spitting out basically the same stuff over and over, doing your due diligence on the numbers, making sure it works. But he said you're not reinventing the wheel, and to get charged something like the original quote was, he said it seems exorbitant for the amount of work, especially somebody that's done the front end of this loan would have all the mechanics already in place, so. Again, I'm not trying to talk bad about Ted Trespass whatsoever. I just, if we can save the town a chunk of money like that and give the same quality work, I don't see any reason not to do it. Again, it's this one bond. If we don't like him for whatever reason, you know, we're not gonna burn any bridges. There's a ton of great bond counsel out there.
Okay? Any questions, concerns? If not, I'd like a motion to approve hiring or engaging his services, however you want to word it.
I think we should go along with Matt's recommendation on this. The guy promised this stuff would be done timely. He's already contacted him, he was supposed to get a sheet back this afternoon. But we definitely need somebody, and if it's going to save us any amount of money for the town, it's taxpayer money, I feel we should do this.
I'll second that.
Okay? Any other questions?
The schedule you mentioned before about how we.
Yes.
Does that need to be approved? Do we need to do that as in the form of a motion, or is that already done deal?
Well, Anthony, after you consulted with the mayor and I,
Because we're kind of talking about this together, so I didn't know if
okay,
it was,
the mayor and I consulted with Anthony. Anthony notified EFC
okay.
of what we decided. Now, I'm gonna say we decided that without talking to everybody, because that had to be done fairly quickly too. And it was certainly the mayor's and my, also that we were starting out with a lower payment, not paying any more, same
Right.
amount of money.
No,
But we have a chance in the next 5, 10 years to gain customers on this line, to raise our revenue. Okay?
I'm just saying that I
It
think we should
starts-
have something in the record that shows that the board was in support of that piece of
Okay,
this
I understand.
conversation.
It starts out at 294,000, I believe, a year. Goes up roughly $5,000 a year. If you wanted the equal payments for all 30 years, it was 362,000. You would have to go out roughly 15 years from the day you started to equal the 362 that's due. Of course, then after that, the last 15 years would be a little higher,
Right.
okay? And it's called the 50% rule because you're, the 294, you take 50% of that, is 145, 147,000. Add that to the 294 and it comes out to the last payment, $400 and some dollars.
So you're banking on more revenue coming in to support the higher cost.
We already know we're gonna have more customers. We got, I don't even think, we got 8 or 10 we're gonna be hooking up ourselves. And they were not part of the, I think they're paying EDUs, but there was no revenue from them planned that I know of. Okay?
The village did make a motion last night to support that particular
Okay, okay, then I think we should do it.
50% plan.
I didn't mean.
Well, they plan on doing
No,
it.
no, no,
They
no,
want
it's
to do
fine.
it.
I understand that question. What's that?
When they plan on doing it? Well, when it comes due, that, you know, they
The
have to
first
have that
payment's due
released.
next January.
No, them houses that we gotta hook up. That's what you were
I
talking
got-
about.
Oh, I don't know.
We discussed that today. I got to check with Mike Jelliker.
It's the same numbers.
The parts are coming out of the project cost.
Yeah.
And see if he's ordered them or how soon he can order them and how soon he can get them. We have one particular person over there that's calling me every week.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, and that one I'd like to get done first. The guy apparently got trouble with as well. He doesn't want to spend a lot of money upgrading as well, knowing he's gonna get water anyways. Okay. So I will try to talk to Mike in the morning, call that person back and tell him when I anticipate. If you tell him, I understand his predicament, let's put it that way, okay? So I would entertain a motion for, it's called the 50% rule of repayment, okay? You got it right there, Ed? That yours?
Yes.
Your copy? Yes. Yeah, I don't have mine right in front of me.
Do you want it?
Well, you can show it to Steve after, or anybody.
Yeah, no, I'm good, I
Yeah.
understand.
Okay. Gives the whole schedule for all 30 years.
In result, it's the same amount of money, it's just.
Yes. Well, we were more than fortunate to get a 30-year 0% loan. And basically, they gave us 3 million grant. And the total project is very close to 14 million. It's a lot of money. Did I have a motion on it, Julie? No?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second that one.
Thank you. Probably should have a roll call vote on this one. John? Brian?
Aye.
Clark?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Aye for myself, thank you.
Was there ever a vote taken on Douglas as bond counsel? There was a vote, just to make sure. we don't get a motion.
It's all right.
No, that's fine, I just want to make sure it's
Yeah,
clear.
I jumped in on that one.
Well, I think it made sense to do them together
Yeah.
anyway.
Okay. That is the exact name right here, isn't it?
Yep.
It's a recommendation of our attorney to hire Douglas Goodfriend?
Yep.
In New York City, do this, basically, it's a whole lot less money than we were quoted from the other attorney, funding attorney. I would like a motion to approve hiring Douglas Goodfield.
We already got that motion.
You have that? Okay.
Yeah, Cooper and then Clark. You just
Okay,
have
and this
to
is
roll call.
spending considerable amount of money too, so I will have a roll call vote on this also. John?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Clark?
Aye.
Stephen?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay.
For this, at some point, if I would just sign that.
Yes, is there a thing to
And
sign?
then have Jane just scan it and send it down to me, or send it directly back to Doug, and we'll be all set.
Uh, If you could, maybe Julie can copy this before you leave,
Sure, no problem.
so we can have a copy or two. Okay, thank you. Okay. CHIPS money. Alan, you might want to weigh in on this a little bit. It gives us last year's CHIP money.
Yeah, we ended up with $22,000 more.
Yes, good news. Okay. I don't know, this is just money they send us, they have a formula certainly. Some of this was for, am I correct, Alan, for some damage done to roads during storms or something?
Yeah, well, every year they got that little extra,
Yes,
and they call that pothole money, or,
yes,
so, but there's a different formula from the real chip money. You know, if you're gonna pave an extra road somewhere, that money there, you gotta do extra.
I
Not a
do not
big
believe we
deal.
need a motion to
Matter of
accept.
keep- No,
It's just coming to us, thank you.
it's a matter of keeping the receipts. and-
Yes.
So what are we doing this summer for roads, Alan? I mean, golf course road, probably parts of it?
I'm trying to get them to do it.
Alan had a discussion today about that.
Okay,
I was just curious.
the next thing is your EMS report that Clark was referring to. It's much more detailed than usual, which is good. That's strictly for your information. We've asked for that, we're finally starting to get what we want and need. General code. This is for your office, Julie?
Yeah, it's the code book.
Yes.
We've had some local laws that's not in it. And one big one is the zoning changes.
Okay, and they update this for us?
They will update it if you approve it. The
Okay.
cost of it.
And Jane tells me it's been several years since we've updated?
It says
they have-
2000, what was that?
2011 is the last.
Okay. So, certainly,
The problem is they have the draft version of the zoning changes in there,
yeah,
and people look that up on E-codes, and I've had engineers and professional people submit applications using that version, which is wrong. And when they get to the meetings, we discover this stuff, and then they have to go back, and so, and apparently general code just picks up these zoning revisions off the internet somehow. I mean, I don't know how the hell to do it. But we have a problem with that.
I take it as your recommendation that we...
Oh, yeah, the sooner the better.
And Julie too, okay?
I have to ask you, where is that coming out of the budget? Do we know?
Well, it has to come out of our, it's out of our general fund, as far as I know.
Okay. I didn't know if we planned for it or not.
And are they sending us a full updated book, or this is just inserts?
They probably just send us inserts.
Well, needless to say, we need it. Okay.
For $4,000, they're just gonna send us a couple of pages, or?
Well, we have several books, I would imagine they would send us inserts for the, plus it's gonna be online, they're gonna,
Yeah, they put it online.
nothing's cheap, so.
They're also talking about changing the table of contents, disposition list, and index, so it might be new books, but I don't know how you do new inserts for a table of contents too. I mean, you'd be telling people where to insert it, what pages to put where in the book.
Yeah.
You might be getting full books for this price, it just looks like based on what they're
I mean,
changing.
I can check, I can call her and find out.
Could you, I mean, we have to do it anyway, but it would be nice to know if we're getting updated books. I mean, after a while, a book 20 years old, the inserts get misplaced, or they get put in the wrong spot, or somebody doesn't put them in the book, and
Okay. What's the desire of the board here?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the bid. Is there one, there's two of them there. It'll
Okay.
cost them such a, there's a spread on it there a little bit.
3647 up to size 3995.
But nevertheless, I'd like to make a motion that we accept
Okay.
whatever it costs to update ourselves where it's supposed to be.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Any questions, concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. You need to mail that down or whatever? Okay. I got a letter from a homeowner on South Street, the next item here, did you, I called, have you heard anything from, not Anthony, but Ed,
Eddie from the Barnier and Car.
yeah, Clerk of the Works, pertaining to the South Street, you know that pumping station that I had?
13
Man,
South
that's
Street.
Oh, he went and looked at it, and
Yes.
as far as I know, they were going to pump his tank out to get below where the electricals got flooded
Yes.
and test them. That was last week. I don't know what's gone on since then. I haven't-
Ed's been very responsive to me when
Yeah.
I call him as far as getting out to review people's problems and concerns.
He has been very responsive.
Yes, okay, and I appreciate that. And Mike has Sue down there.
Yeah.
They both were really great. He, that homeowner or Ed has not gotten back to me on that one. So I assume something favorable.
Well, they were supposed to have it, get it pumped out last week.
Okay,
I'm assuming it got done, but I'm not there all the time, so I don't know.
okay. I also, the next letter is also to whom it may concern, a complaint from a gentleman on Hayford Road. I also called Ed on this one. He made an appointment to go and visit this first, are you aware of that one?
Yeah.
Okay,
A lot of that work will be done when they do the final restoration.
yes,
There are some issues with some nicked wires, a little bit of conflict there. One says they were nicked, the other one says they weren't even near them, so I don't know how that's gonna pan out.
okay. At least when I do get a complaint, I have nowhere to go other than the clerk and watch overseeing the project, so.
So these repairs are being made for these homeowners by the contractor? not the town?
Supposedly, yes, the contractor's responsible for them.
Wow. Yeah.
The next one here is a letter from the town, Cynthia North Country Golf Club. Did you read it, Steve?
Yeah, well, yeah, I read it before it went out, that's what I was asking John.
Let me give a little bit of background, trying to clarify this. Before Mike and I met, Larry had spoken to me, we were on the phone about something else. Larry brought up the point that the golf club wanted the town to co-sign a mortgage. And I didn't fully understand what the benefit to the town would be at that point, so Larry and I talked about it, and I still didn't understand it. Larry indicated that Mike Phillips is the attorney for the golf club. And I thought what the direction was figure out what they may want, figure out if it's gonna benefit the town, and let us know what's gonna happen. So it kinda hit the back burner for me, because it didn't seem like a real important thing for the town. I saw Mike in city court one day, happened to said, hey, I hear this is going on, you may ask the town for this. Let's get together and talk about it so we both understand what's going on, so that if it's a benefit to the town, I can recommend it. If it's not, I won't, but I need to know what the scope of the project is, what they're looking for, so I can guide you guys one way or the other. Michael did not approach me and come to me and say, hey, let's do this. I approached him after a conversation with Larry, where I thought it was something the town wanted to know about, figure out if this was gonna be a good thing to do or not, figure out if they should co-sign this mortgage, how it may benefit the town, how it may not. In the conversation with Mike, we went back and forth about a lot of stuff. He talked about that there's water sourcing up there and a whole bunch of reasons. I think he saw both sides of it too, why it may be good for the town, why it may not. But he certainly didn't come to me and say, hey, I want the town of Champlain to pay for us to have a meeting to discuss this. I approached him after what I thought the town wanted me to do. If I was mistaken about that, it's my fault, and I apologize. And if there's ever a line in one of my bills that either you don't understand or you need an explanation, just call me. I'll either explain it to you or say, if you're not comfortable with it, don't pay it. The last thing I want is the town to be paying something that they either don't think is fair or don't fully understand. So in the future, just make sure that happens, because I have no problem explaining
Well, the
those.
only thing is the golf course didn't come to the town board here and request that, they just sent us a letter requesting us to sign for this loan. They didn't come to explain anything to us, they didn't do anything.
Well, wait a minute, who was here?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did.
Not when I was at the board meeting.
No, it wasn't a board meeting.
No.
They just
No,
called,
We had,
you and I?
yes. What we talked about was two of us would meet with them and then bring back the information about this
Okay. But
proposed.
what I found out
loan.
later,
And,
there was a great liability to us.
right, and what it turned out to be is that it didn't even come to fruition because,
There's a liability for us, and
Yeah.
I wasn't care about
At the end of the
settling
day,
the town with that liability.
after what I've looked at based on the deeds of who owns the property up there and how disjointed it seems,
Yeah,
the mortgages that are on it, I told her under no circumstances should the town be willing to do this. It would be,
yes.
there's only liability, but to me, there's no benefit for the town of doing this. So after looking at all that, that's where I got. My proposal for this is a couple things. One, I don't necessarily think the golf course should pay for that part of my time. So I will be more than happy to take that amount off my next month's bill if the town's not comfortable with it. I don't think the golf course should pay it.
No.
If I was under a mistaken, I guess, understanding of what the town wanted of me as far as that project, that's on me. I will take that amount off next month's bill and show it as a credit so that everybody is, if everybody's comfortable doing that, I'm more than happy to do that. That's not a problem at all.
that's fair.
Well, the other thing is, I just don't want somebody going and contacting yourself as a legal representative of the town without town knowledge.
Right, I agree with that. I wouldn't let that happen. I thought this was an ongoing project that the board wanted a resolution to. Do we sign this loan or not? So again, if that was my mistake, and it sounds like it was, I can eat that, and that's not a problem.
Well,
But in the future, I feel like I know what the ongoing projects are. I talked to Larry enough. If somebody comes to me about something that I've never heard of, I will contact Larry and say, do you want me to get into this? Is this something that's going on, or do I just not bother to answer the phone? So, and if it's okay, I will call Mike tomorrow and say, you guys got this letter, it's on me, don't worry about it. The town's gonna, the golf course isn't gonna pay it, I'm gonna take care of it with the town, so they're on the same page, so there's no
okay,
animosity about any of that right now, because I don't think that's good for either party.
appreciate that.
Is that acceptable to everybody
No, I
here
agree.
going forward?
I just
agree.
didn't want
I agree.
the liability is what they were looking for.
No, that's,
Okay, that's huge.
I mean, if the town co-signs a mortgage up there and they don't pay it, you gained nothing by signing that mortgage, by giving them your equity, basically.
Which we
Our
actually
equity is
don't
the 9
have.
holes that we
because
own.
We don't have the golf, if it's not a golf course, it goes back to the estate of the family.
Exactly.
So,
Okay, I guess that's the end of the story.
Okay, so I will show that very clearly on the next bill. If anybody has questions on that part of the bill or anything else that I
Okay.
submit, let me know.
Larry?
Okay.
Larry? Ever since this topic came up about maybe at least 2 months ago, I have asked to see a copy of the contract that the town has with the golf course.
We
Again,
have
I'm
that.
asking to see that contract.
I will,
Have you seen it?
I'll do that as, I will send, when I talk to Mike about this,
In-house or?
yeah, Jane has it right there. I've asked her, I know she's shown it to me,
Yeah, I've seen
probably.
it. I've read it.
Yeah, she's got
I
it
think that
right.
contract goes through 2018, if I'm correct.
So,
Yeah,
if
it's
Jane,
even the history of it.
so our best course of action would be to talk to Jane.
Yes.
You know, at a good time, not a payroll day or.
She's only got 2 checks, so don't.
No, I got them today. They came in, Mike. You hear me? The checks came in today.
Oh, we're gonna get paid? We don't have to go on strike?
We just got 3,000 blank checks, I think. Well, if you want to put off your pay for a couple of weeks, we will accommodate you for certain.
Makes me handle it that way, man.
Sure,
It's
no problem.
a professional way to do it.
Okay. Okay. That's that one. Boone County Health Department, that's strictly for their information. Read it over. They send us a lot of monthly stuff for certain. Community health. Association of Towns. Should be a amount of money here we pay somewheres. It's something we've belonged to for many, many years. Okay. On the, okay. I would like a motion that we maintain our membership in the Association of Towns. That's all I need, I believe. We budget for this every year anyways.
What does it cost?
You know, off the top of my head, it was $800, but I'm not. You got it right there. It goes by, if I'm correct, your budget, the amount of dollars your budget. Okay?
Do you use them a lot? 'Cause I've heard they provide fantastic service.
They have legal services, you can.
Yeah, no, I know. I call them public, I just mean any general questions. From what I've heard,
We
they're
have no
very,
problem
very good.
calling them on our behalf.
This is a meeting that Larry and
No,
yourself.
Yeah,
went
some of
to.
the
very good. I've called them maybe 3 or 4 times in 12 years, but
Yeah.
they'd be a good source for you, for certain.
Yeah, I called them on a couple of things. They
You
they
got my,
know their
I'll
stuff.
give you the update.
Yeah,
below.
I got halfway through it. I like that one.
A lot of stuff in there. We're gonna give you 3 college credits when you get that one
I
done.
can use them.
Okay. So is it, the will of the board that we maintain membership in the association of towns?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Have a second?
I
They do put
second
on-
it, I just don't, I didn't find that in our agenda.
You ever got it?
Well, we got the letter.
We got a letter about the shared
About the
services.
services that you and him went to, and you and him went to.
Oh, okay, maybe I'm not 100% sure here then.
It's attached to that, I think. Maybe now.
No,
See,
no, it's just,
they put seminars on all around the state, different
oh,
kinds.
yeah, they're a good resource, they're
Yes,
wonderful, but I
different
just
subjects.
didn't see a bill
Okay, then we don't need
part
part
of it.
Okay, information.
Just as an aside, we're on the Association of Towns, they're discussing the shared services thing. It's a very complicated thing, and the county is the lead agency, and this has to be done ASAP.
There's a meeting
The
on
17th.
17th of this month at the county, and only town supervisors and mayors of villages can vote.
And the irony is, school boards aren't actually on the list. They're not allowed to be part of the shared services project unless they get an invitation from the county administrator. And he can also invite other people, but they're not on the list of voting members.
Right. The
So,
only ones that can vote, am I correct, is town supervisors and mayors.
yeah,
Was
I
Association
did have a
of Town
conflict
members.
that evening, but I'm gonna go to that meeting because I don't want to lose our vote.
but there's a lot to it, and it has to be done this summer and voted on.
The town topics, the magazine I will show you this
Yeah.
afternoon, has an article in there about it.
I put some in the other mailboxes, what we
Okay.
took back from the meeting. But it's going forth, that was part of the state budget, that the county has to lead this, and they have to have a vote on it. And whether they accept it or reject the plan is up to the committee of the voting board members, which may or may not include the school board. They have to have a special invitation. I thought that was
Yeah, but
ironic.
they're not belong to the town association, that's why.
No, this was, that thing is basically saying that it's a consolidation services program, period. They want the
For
schools.
towns.
No, towns, villages, schools, public authorities, dormitory authority and the New York State Thruway and all the other. And there's a whole list of add-ons on there, a whole paragraph. But they're add-ons only if the county administrator invites them to participate.
Yep. We do several things now, I made a list of them, I took them with me to that meeting. 6 or 8 things that we already do with shared services, either with the village of Champlain, town of Shazy, dog control officers, Shazy, Moores, and Champlain. We do a lot of stuff now where we share services. And if they can come up with some good ideas to help us, we'll listen. Otherwise, I can't imagine what they can tell us, but we can always listen and hopefully we can.
There is a deadline on that
Yes.
this summer. It
Yes.
has to be done. It was done in the budget in the middle of the night. Now they're figuring it out.
Another nighttime deal.
I can't ask a deputy supervisor or town councilman to fill in for me. If I'm not there, we lose our vote. That's what they told us. Okay. Okay. Nikki, what do you know about this floodplain stormwater management association? You got that one?
No.
16th annual meeting, Bennington, New York.
You can have my copy because I'm not going to Binghamton.
Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an organization for floodplain managers.
Okay.
I mean, the little bit of floodplains we have around here, there's little to no, if any, building that goes on in it, so really, nothing I wanna go to.
Okay.
I went to some floodplain stuff here in Lake Placid earlier this year, so.
Matt, this bond resolution, you wanna handle that next week? It should be in the very back of your packet.
Sure.
Maybe you can put it in yours.
No, I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, you wanna maybe explain that to us, Wes?
The last bond, let me just make sure I'm talking about the right one.
This is for the salt shed now.
So I prepared a salt shed bond resolution, I think it was April, maybe it was March. It was a meeting where there were not enough board members present to ratify a bond resolution, which you need.
Because you needed 4 out of 5 instead of the usual.
Exactly. So we need to re-ratify basically the same resolution tonight for the salt shed ban. And the only thing we need to fill in here, which I should have known, but section 1 is the location of the salt shed ban. I'm assuming we're just using this address?
This address, it's right here.
Okay.
Okay?
So it is the same resolution that was before you guys before, I just put different dates on it. And we need at least 4 out of 5 of you to vote yes if that's what you want to do.
Okay.
This is for, obviously, the salt shed, the money's gonna be here, it sounds like to the state grant pretty soon, but we're gonna do a ban to make sure we've got the upfront money for payments.
In other words, we'll have the money even if the state hasn't reimbursed us yet.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, that's the idea. Anthony's been running the show on this. We're, I think, lucky to have him running the show on it. I think he's very good, very responsive, really knows what he's doing. He and I seem to work pretty well together and use cell phones, contact each other all hours of the day if we need to, so the town's lucky to have him.
Largest project I believe he ever worked on, he's on.
Really?
13.
Good for him.
It's a good sized project.
Yeah.
Yes, he's very responsive. I will give the guy credit.
Yeah.
I called him, he called the guy.
Yep.
So we need to approve this bond resolution with new dates, I guess.
He'll make sure Jane gets to do the publication requirements and all that, and then we should be in
Julie's got
good shape.
it. My friend Julie, you have all that?
Well,
The publication dates and stuff you gotta do?
yeah,
Okay.
You should have been sent right with it, I think. It should be the last 2 pages, should be the renewal notice. And the certificate, once that's done, the town clerk will just sign that legal, the certification form and everything's there.
Okay. The town clerk does that, okay, fine. So do I have a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the bond resolution for the salt shed.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any questions?
Do we need a bond counsel on that, or is that something that you can do?
Here's the deal, well, we need bond counsel to probably do the first ban, and I would use Doug for it. He's giving me a quote of, he can look at it, but it's gonna be between 1,800 and 3,000, and that's from doing the resolution to the money in the bank. I'm in the process of getting the certifications that we need. I also have to, my malpractice carrier has to be confident that I can make a bond recommendation, because if they're not and I screw up and the town's on the hook for the money, then my insurance carrier, my malpractice carrier is not gonna pony up the money you would need. So, once that's in place, and that's important for everybody, And once Doug has done one set of band paperwork, because I've tried to go back and find the old ones that Bill Farmer did, and there's not a complete set of all the paperwork, and there's about 22 different steps of things for a band depending on the bank, but it seems like the one we use is pretty similar. Once Doug does one set of that, everything else after that is changing, basically using those forms, using those documents and going forward. So I wouldn't be able to figure out how to do all those forms and get up to speed on that for anywhere near as low a price as he's gonna be able to charge you the first one. Once I've seen his package, it's all there in front of me to do again and again and again. So he and I will talk about that. He helped me get this form to make sure this was perfect. This is one of the ones he looked over for me, added some things to it, no cost to anybody, and just did it as a courtesy to make sure it's right so we don't screw it up. So once this is done, he basically said, send this, once all the publication's done, send it to him, and then let him know either do you want him to be bond counsel for that, or he can try to walk me through it. He and I will have to have that discussion and see what's gonna be better for everybody, so there's no, I don't want liability for me or the town if what's gonna happen when that documentation is not right, because it's a big, it's a big deal when you're talking about numbers that high, so. He may do this one, I should be able to do the rest of them. I think the cost, if he does this one, is gonna be significantly less than the cost would be if I did it, because it is an extremely specialized thing.
Okay.
And just, most towns around here, Peru, City of Plattsburgh, Town of Plattsburgh, they all use independent bond counsel. It's not abnormal at all.
I had a motion second, did I, Julie? I'll take a roll call vote, there's somebody here. John?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Clark?
Right.
Steve?
Aye.
And I for myself, thank you. Okay, one other thing we gotta discuss, and we discussed this at budget time when we made the budget last fall. We were aware at that time that the court in Russell's Point was gonna be closing down 1st of April, okay? And we did budget extra money for the judges over a larger workload here. There's no longer a court in Champlain Village or Russell's Point now, okay? We allowed $15,000, that was approximate salary that John had made in Russell's Point. And we agreed, the town board and the judges both know this, to split that $15,000, $7,500 each, okay? And we will gain some revenue from that for certain, okay, to cover at least all or part of that, okay? So we do need to have a motion.
Can I ask a question
Yes.
about the revenue part of it? Are crimes or infractions that are, I guess the village of Rouse's Point is no voice, that won't matter, right? Because if a crime is,
The court is.
but if a crime is committed in the village of Rouse's Point, where does that fine money go? To the village or to the town?
If it's written with the proper code, if the issuing officer writes the code for the state or the town legal obligation, it would come to the town. They'd have to use a Rouse's Point code, but we're gonna try and use the state or town code, probably the state, and then it would come to the town.
So what we may want to do is send a letter out.
No, that's,
I issue appearance tickets in the village of Champlain, and if it's written on their local code, whatever the fine is, that reverts back to the village.
And that was my concern.
So the same thing would happen in
When
Rouse's
you're talking about
Point.
increase in revenue, that was my concern. If somebody's walking
What-
down,
yeah,
somebody
what-
commits a crime at the ice rink in the village of Rouse's Point, a petty larceny or an assault, and that person pays $500 fine in the town of Champlain court for the crime committed at the ice rink, where does the fine money go?
it would go to the town if it's written with the state infraction.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to get the word out to the troopers.
So we should send a letter then to Plattsburgh, Shazy Barracks, and the Sheriff's Department with what's changed and how that needs to get done. Just for some educational stuff, have them circulate that around. Because otherwise, if you're doing this extra money to the judges, which is the right thing to do, and basing it on increased revenue, when you're not getting the revenue from the crimes committed in the village, then you kind of shoot yourself in the foot both ways. So we should get a letter, I think, out soon based on that.
It's not a lot, but it is a fair amount. It's worth
Well, I used to be in the village court. They run a pretty good volume there, and the judges, as they are here, are very good about getting that fine money paid before they do anything, so there's no chasing it down. So assuming they'll do it the same way here, it's a pretty good revenue stream.
Can be.
Judge Valley's not one to reduce traffic tickets either.
No.
Man!
No.
So So we need to settle this judge's pay, so to speak. It should be, in my opinion, retroactive April 1st when they started the larger workload. Okay? And it's upping their total salary by $7,500 each, because they're doing the work of almost 2 courts. I mean,
What about clerk salary?
Well, I want to stay on the judges, because that's going to be a ratio, because that $7,500 is for a whole year.
yes, Jane knows that.
So, yeah, but I mean, I don't know if
This,
everybody here
this
knows.
particular year,
It's going to be less than that.
it'll be for 9 months.
For 9 months.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be a
So
full
we prorated out at
7,500.
Yes,
7,500.
Jane
Probably
Jane and I
talking
talked about that today.
5.
Okay.
500.
Okay, so we talked about that, so Jane understands that. All we gotta do, hopefully all we have to do is approve the salary increases because of the extra workload and the court dissolved, from Russ's point. For the judges, we have one other for the part-time clerk. This overloaded Janice now,
Right,
and we were able to get a part-time clerk from the board, you realize that?
yes.
Okay.
So just make sure the motion for the judges then is based on a prorated $7,500 a year
Yes.
salary. And it would be, if you wanted it to be retroactive to April 1st.
Okay,
That way it's
you there.
clear.
Got that, Joey?
Because that's when the village turned.
Right, that's when
Okay.
they're working.
And the new court clerk,
They
Bob,
even
he said,
considered, if they're here 2 nights a week now, depending on the workload, they did consider maybe another evening, if they had to. But I haven't heard much since April. I wasn't here all of April either, I was out a couple weeks. But anyways, everybody understands, we budgeted for this, we were aware of it last fall at budget time, that they were gonna do away with their court.
And hopefully if it's done right too, like you said, the increase in revenue should more than account
Yes.
for that,
Yes,
if it's done
Yes.
right. And you're lucky here, you have 2 excellent judges. I've been in Birmingham for 10, well, Judge Bounty for 10 years, and Judge Triller since he's been here. I don't respect
we,
anybody more.
Jack Favreau was here for many, many years, and he did a fine job for us too, so. No, it runs fairly smooth over there. I don't go over there very often, other than deliver the mail.
I'm scared of that in the building.
So could I have a motion, and I think it's what, Matt, $7,500 each judge, retroactive to April 1st.
and the salary is prorated.
Prorated.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
I thank you. Any questions? All in favor?
Right.
Opposed? Carried.
I will speak to one of the 2 judges, either the clerk this week, and ask them how specifically charges need to be written to make sure that the revenue stays here. Then I'll put together some thoughts and maybe a draft of a letter that you could then send out to the Shazy Barracks, the Plattsburgh Barracks, and the Sheriff's Department.
Okay. The other one now is, John LaBounty had a part-time clerk in Russell's Point. She did not want to come over for some reason. I believe she retired. I did not know that.
Yeah, Tony retired.
Retired. So, we also budgeted last fall, during budget time, for a part-time clerk up to 20 hours a week at $15 an hour. Okay? And, yeah. 20 hours, that's 300 a week, that's roughly a little over 15,000 a year also, for the part-time clerk. It will not be more than that, it could be less than that. And he has been on board, so his salary also probably should be, well, it's not gonna be retroactive, because he's just putting the bill in for hours,
Hours so far. So
Yes.
he's gonna be an hourly bill for what he's been here
Yes.
to work.
Okay,
So
pardon?
you're just confirming his hourly rate then?
Yes. So we need to approve an hourly rate of $15 an hour, up to 20 hours per week.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Any questions on that one?
You know, I do want to point out that all of the records they received from the village of Rouse's Point are on paper. So every single ticket has to be gone through and put on computer.
They delivered 3 or 4.
Well, maybe they'll trade that work for Lincoln Boulevard.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
They came a week or so ago and brought 3 file cabinets over
Oh, my lord.
of stuff.
Yeah, never put
They
on
never
computer.
scanned any of that stuff?
Never scanned any of it.
I think Janice should get an increase too.
Just for dealing with our judges, she should.
Yeah.
I will say,
Wow,
Janice,
that's a lot of work to have to do.
Janice does a
Yeah.
tremendous job. She does her job and does it well. We never hear no complaints,
And she's
well respected.
incredibly nice to be around for the amount of hassle she gets from people. Litigants, attorneys, she never has anything but a smile on it. She's always great.
Yes, I understand that. She's great.
Where she's sitting, she's always right, just remember that.
Oh, no doubt. Even if she's wrong, she's right.
Well, you know, she was a right one time, did you know that?
No, what's she really? I did not know that. She knows her stuff too, and she's always got the answer. Even if she's frazzled, she doesn't
No,
treat
she
you.
stays calm.
Yeah.
No, she was a judge for a short time. Any of you guys, you were probably before you got here though, Alan, eh?
No, when I was here, she was here,
Yeah.
and she was a judge, but she wasn't,
She was a judge at one time for a short period of time.
she
And
was
of course,
part-time, I think, or something.
yes, I believe you're right, yes. She is still a marriage officer, a judge,
Yeah, I think you never lose that, 'cause my dad is city court judge now, years ago, could still do marriages.
still a marriage.
Yep.
So I think we pay her, I think, $1,000 a year Julie, for marriage officer. She does a few every year.
She was shot, she was
We
very.
certainly appreciate her service to the family, so. I'll wrap this up here. Building committee, I don't know if anybody, Alan, anything on the highway?
No, I don't have it.
Alan's, they've already swept a lot of roads and they've,
No, I went through all that.
did you?
And thanks, Alan, for keeping the Perry's Mills Rec Park up in spite of the rain.
Okay,
And I'd like to make a motion that we exempt the town from the building permit fee for the salt storage shed.
okay.
We still need a building permit, but we can exempt ourselves from the
How's that
$25
determined,
fee.
by square footage? Yeah.
Yeah,
A pretty good sized building.
So,
yeah. A couple $100 anyway.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Everybody understand that one?
Yes.
It's taking one pocket, put it in the other anyway, so if we charge it, we get it back. Any questions, concerns? All in favor? Opposed? Carried? You have your closed audit bills, we need to pay the monthly bills.
Make a motion to pay the monthly bills.
Any questions on the monthly bills?
I'll second that motion, so.
Yeah, I just had one, are we buying culverts from the county?
Yeah. I had to buy, I needed 4-foot culverts, and that's the only place I could find them.
County keeps them on hand, apparently.
County's got about 20 of them on hand.
Okay.
Shared services.
Yeah, but they're not free, though.
I know, but
You know, but still,
it's still, yeah.
I'm sure they didn't make any money on them.
Okay, any other questions on any of the bills?
These are the April bills, right? Do you wanna just take that money out of mine then? Or do you wanna
Anything you
do it?
wanna do it?
Yeah, that's fine. Take the, whatever, it's $157.50 out of whatever I sent you for a bill, and just
Okay.
keep sending the difference, that's fine.
Okay.
Piece of cake.
Julie, will you remind Jane, because sometimes she gets those checks out?
If she does, if she's already cut it, then I'll take care of it next month, but I'll make sure it's
Yes,
taken
okay.
care of.
We'll take care of it. We appreciate that. Any other question on the bills? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Code officer's monthly report was on the desk here when you came in this evening.
You're busy.
Is that it?
90% is the water project.
Seems like it.
I'll tell you when, Michael will have big ears when this is over. He listens to all the whining and the crying.
Okay.
We have Water District 6 disbursement, approval number 34. Bernier and Carr for $30,974.40. Luck Brothers for $253,598.61. LH LaPlante, $3,800. Doe Electric, $72,056.55. Cassell Construction, $145,299.23. Village of Champlain, $5,379.02. Atlantic Testing, $390. Town of Champlain for easements, $4,174.70. Town of Champlain, $90.79, and that's for the press notice.
Okay.
Does any, I haven't had a chance to look at it. What's the Luck Brothers one for?
The water plant?
So they're charging us before they even do anything?
They got all the cement poured.
The foundations are all in.
Are they? Last time I went by there a couple weeks ago, there was.
Oh, they're working, they put the the new pumps and the contact tanks there today and tomorrow.
That's,
So
that's
they're-
not the total bill, that's only for
Oh,
work done, you know.
I didn't realize they had, I think, actually broken
I
ground.
think Anthony's looked at these and.
Oh, yeah, he always does.
Yeah.
No, it's
See,
just
like,
for
we
my
talk
own,
about the Casell bill a lot.
yeah, it's more for my own.
Okay.
interest, so.
Did I have a motion, Faith?
No,
No
not
motion
yet.
yet?
I move that we pay the
Bills, okay, thank you. I have a second, do I?
I'll second it.
Thank you. We need a roll call vote on this kind of money.
I,
Yep. Brian,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Stephen, and myself, and I for myself. We all need to sign that before you leave.
just, every time I look at this and the amount of money that gets involved here, I just, it's kind of staggering actually.
Big project. I have nothing else. Does anybody have,
I have a question for you.
Yes.
On the update on the 911 change for the town's address changing, is that
Yes.
still,
well, Kelly Donahue from Emergency Services working on that. They're gonna change the numbers on the street.
Okay.
And they're putting a 10 ahead of every number. Like ours is 729 Route 9. It's gonna be 10,799
That'll be fun.
on Route 9 only now, from the Shazy town line all the way up to the village. Why? Because when the fire dispatch,
Diesel.
the way it was explained to me, when fire dispatch gets a call and they say 729 Route 9, well, there could be a 729 Route 9 in Shazy, or this goes all the way down Route 9, all the way.
There is a 729.
Pardon?
There is a 729 Route 9. It starts from the county end, has one, and it works its way all the way down. So somewhere along the line, there's a 729. Then when it gets to the Shazy end, it starts again,
One.
all the way to
Yes.
729. So
That makes
really,
sense. This is something the emergency services felt that we needed to respond to calls, okay? So they know exactly where the call is coming from.
Downtown Champlain.
Is your mailing address gonna change or just your 911 address?
Well-
There's no thought put into the cost of business in order to change all of that.
Yeah.
For 1,000 different vendors that they have.
Kelly doesn't have a lot to do right now.
But they've been talking about this for 3 or 4 years.
They offered to preach to us the other day.
I know that show too.
but it is a lot of money.
He doesn't, they don't have any concept of what's.
When's that gonna go into effect?
Well, We've been talking about it for a couple of years, so he said late summer.
I think soon we're gonna have to dial 518 to make a local call,
Yes,
right?
I was just gonna say that, but I'm gonna get man-basted over it. It's not my fault.
You look guilty.
They're adding another area code, so it's conflicting with others.
And you are gonna look into Maple Hill Cemetery?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That is a good point though, because the call's not gonna go through unless you put 518 in it.
That has been
Come
two people up for a
Come
long time.
August.
Do you have anything else for us, Joe? Does anybody else have anything? You got anything else for us?
No, sir.
Yes, I do. The wastewater project that we've got going with the DOT, that district has not been formed yet. Now, given the history of how the water project went, everything is always the 11th hour. So I think you guys need to think about when you want to be doing that and how you want to proceed with that project. That's not a $13 million project there.
Right.
It's
Well, that's
less than
a
a
good
million.
point. Because I remember Anthony saying that he was gonna help us put that together.
Yep, I'll talk to him tomorrow. I'll get on to him tomorrow.
I did talk to him about the DOT project, and he said they still haven't firmed up when they're actually gonna start that. Have you seen anything more?
Matt's aware of this.
I heard 2018, but again, you know,
Department of
it's been going on for 3 years now.
No, it's just, my concern is that $400,000
You know what
grant.
service road is?
Well,
Is that
yeah.
still gonna
We
be
put it up way over halfway up
valid?
service road.
we're waiting
The state
for
is
that.
gonna pay
And
for
we've
it.
already spent like
All the way down.
55,000 out of that
Okay.
with the burning your
Yes,
car
and I talked about
to
this.
do the work that they've done up till
We gotta
now.
pay from where they
Where
leave
they
off or
stop.
start up
Yep.
there, up to the border.
I got a whole theory
And
about
I
that.
think we're gonna need,
Talk about that later.
Okay.
it was very little, we already got a partial grant for that. So I think the whole project is less than $100,000 of money
Yep.
from those, there's about 10, 12 home, not homes, business owners, okay? And we have one up there now that wants to build a huge building in a year or two.
Is that the project that's been on the back burner a little bit right now?
Yes.
Is that the one that's, yeah, okay. Yeah, Anthony and I talked about that a couple weeks ago.
And also, the Border Patrol has acquired land on Route 11 to build a new border patrol station. They own the land, but they haven't done nothing 3 or 4 years now.
Yes, but they can't pay their EDU payments to the town, but they can buy more land.
That's the border patrol, that's federal
Well,
customs
it's
up there.
still,
Border patrol rents that building over here.
it's still all through GSA.
Yeah.
It's all through GSA,
Yeah, okay.
and they still owe
Anyways.
us.
The sewer project, then probably the next few months you're gonna hear about this one. Much smaller project.
Works for me.
We do wanna, we're looking into, down the road, a year or two, for a grant for a sewer project on Eden Lane and South Street. There were 2 priorities that both need it badly, okay? So Anthony's well aware of that. We're keeping our eyes and ears open for possible grants.
Yeah, there's some grant money, Brew's got one going right now, there's some grant money available for sewer.
Yeah,
sewer work.
this one that we got for this water project took us what?
Well, why, it's
3 or
not
4 years?
fast money.
Oh, that's-
Uh,
6
Yeah,
years,
but
they might.
the sewer grant, unless we get some violations through the health department, that's not gonna go anywhere, our scoring doesn't move,
Right,
and we're below the line, so.
right.
So there'll be time to pay those roads.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that extra chip money you got there, that's for the water project.
You don't wanna do it, you're gonna do the sewer though.
Right,
Right.
we'd much rather wait until it's all done and just pave it once.
The other thing with that sewer project, you have to negotiate an intermunicipal agreement with the village over the sewer rate and what are they gonna do? I mean, given the water project, I remember this was all rushed at the last minute, and I hate to see that happen this time.
Sometimes timelines,
It's another conversation.
We have so many 11th-hour deals here, it's unbelievable.
okay,
That's another conversation with Anthony, because he did tell us that he would help us create that intermunicipal agreement and probably a year ago too. Sure.
okay. If nothing else, I need a motion to adjourn.
I just want to say, missed you while you were out, but I want to thank John for the wonderful job he did as deputy supervisor.
Listen, I wasn't worried a bit. Larry was only a phone call away.
I know, but you had a couple last minute things.
There was a learning curve in how to sit in the supervisor's
Yes.
chair there.
Thanks a lot, you guys.
I came in a couple times, I caught him sitting in my chair, and I told him he looked good sitting there.
You should have seen it when he flipped it over.
Come on.
He wasn't ready to be king yet.
You can't be doing favors
And he's the
for
one
these
who put
guys.
that chair together.
I was only out of the hospital.
Jane and Julie once picked him up.
Meeting.
We're back.
Okay, I just was not-
Oh, do we have video?
That was the first town board
Jane
meeting.
said I was sitting there, and all of a sudden I wasn't there anymore.
Cut his arm and roll up and everything.
That thing, the thing off the pedestal there, and over I went, you should have seen that.
Let the dog go to his head.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you,
I'll second that.
thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved, thank you. Thanks, Matt.
You're welcome, guys.
I'm gonna bring that up.